The clock on the mantel ticked louder than it should have. Each second a hammer against my skull. I sat on the couch, staring at the front door, its chipped green paint mocking me with its stillness. My phone lay face down on the coffee table, silent for 22 hours and 17 minutes since Lila's last text. Be home soon. No call, no follow-up, no explanation. Just those 3 words, now burned into my retinas like a brand. My coffee, cold and untouched, sat in a chipped mug beside a half-eaten bagel. Its cream cheese congealing like my thoughts, stale, heavy, wrong. The apartment smelled of her lavender shampoo, faint but clinging to the air like a ghost. I'd spent the night pacing, my socks wearing thin paths into the hardwood. Where was she? Lila, with her quick laugh and eyes that could unravel me in a glance, had vanished. No fight, no warning, just gone. My mind churned through possibilities. An accident, a mugging, a sudden illness. But the darker thoughts crept in, slithering past my defenses. What if she wasn't hurt? What if she'd chosen to disappear? I checked my phone again. Nothing. Her friends hadn't heard from her either, their replies curt, tinged with unease. Haven't seen her since yesterday morning, Claire had texted. She seemed fine. Fine. The word gnawed at me. Lila had left for work at 7, her usual routine, but her office said she'd called in sick. Sick. Another lie, small but sharp, like a splinter under my skin. The key rattled in the lock at 9:14 a.m. My heart lurched, relief and dread colliding like storm clouds. The door swung open, and there she was, Lila, alive, unharmed, her auburn hair tangled, her blouse wrinkled. But her eyes, usually warm like honey, were guarded, darting away from mine. Hey, she said, her voice thin, like she was testing the air between us. Where were you? My words came out sharper than I meant, raw with the weight of a sleepless night. I stood, my hands trembling, wanting to pull her close but frozen by the distance in her posture. She dropped her purse on the counter, the clatter too loud in the quiet. I'd got caught up. I'm sorry. Her fingers fidgeted with the hem of her sleeve, a nervous tick I hadn't seen in years. I didn't mean to worry you. Caught up. I stepped closer, the floor creaking under my weight. You didn't call, Lila. You didn't answer. I thought. My voice cracked, betraying me. I thought you were dead. Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked at me, then away, her gaze settling on the window where morning light bled through the blinds. I'm fine, she said finally, but the words sounded hollow, like a promise she didn't believe. Fine. I laughed, bitter and jagged. You called in sick to work. You didn't tell me. You disappeared for a whole day, and now you're standing here, acting like it's nothing. My chest tightened, anger bubbling beneath the hurt. Where were you, Lila? Really? She flinched, her shoulders curling inward. I needed space, okay? I just needed to think. Her voice wavered, but there was something else in it, guilt, maybe, or defiance. She turned to the kitchen, busying herself with a glass of water, her back to me like a shield. Space. I followed her, my voice rising despite myself. We've been together 5 years. You don't just vanish for space. Tell me the truth. My pulse thundered in my ears, each beat a question I wasn't sure I wanted answered. She set the glass down hard, water sloshing over the rim. It's not what you think, she said, her words rushed, almost desperate. I was with a friend. We talked, lost track of time. That's all. A friend. The word tasted sour. Which friend, Lila? Claire didn't know. Neither did Jess. Who was it? My hands clenched, nails biting into my palms. I wanted to believe her, wanted to cling to the version of us where trust was unshakable. But her eyes wouldn't meet mine, and the silence stretched like a taut wire. Does it matter? She whispered, her voice barely audible. I'm here now. It matters. My throat burned. It matters because you're lying to me. The room felt smaller, the walls pressing in, the air thick with unspoken truths. I noticed her blouse again, wrinkled, yes, but also misbuttoned, one button off like she'd dressed in a hurry. A faint scent clung to her, not lavender but something sharper, like cedarwood. Not hers. Not mine. She turned, her face pale, lips trembling. I didn't mean for this to happen, she said, and the words hit like a fist. It was a mistake. A stupid, awful mistake. My stomach dropped. The world tilted, and I gripped the counter to steady myself. A mistake, I echoed, my voice flat, hollowed out. What kind of mistake, Lila? Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away this time. I was with someone, she said, her voice breaking. It wasn't planned. It just happened. The confession hung between us, heavy and jagged, tearing through the fragile threads of our life together. I wanted to scream, to demand names, details, reasons, but my body felt leaden, my mind stuck on the image of her with someone else. Someone who wasn't me. Who? The word scraped out of me, barely a whisper. Does it? She stopped herself, swallowing hard. It was Mark. From work. We were talking and I don't know how it happened. I'm so sorry, Ben. Mark. Her coworker, the one with the easy smile and late-night project meetings. I'd met him once, shaken his hand, laughed at his jokes. Now his name was a blade in my chest. You slept with him, I said, not a question. The truth was in her silence, in the way her hands shook as she wiped her eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said, stepping toward me. I backed away, the space between us a chasm now. It was one time. I swear it won't happen again. One time. I laughed, the sound brittle, breaking. You disappeared, Lila. You lied. You let me sit here, thinking you were dead, while you were. I couldn't finish, the words choking me. My eyes burned, but I refused to cry. Not yet. I love you, she said, her voice small, pleading. I still want us. I looked at her, really looked, and saw a stranger. The woman I'd planned a future with, kids, a house, a life, was gone, replaced by someone who could betray me and call it a mistake. The clock ticked on, indifferent, as the life we'd built crumbled around us. Then why? I said, my voice steady now, cold. Do I feel like I'm the one who's gone? She had no answer. And in that silence I knew. She'd come back, but I was no longer hers.